Welcome to another edition of Tinley Park, where we highlight the people and organizations of town that make Tinley Park a great place in which to live. And as we all know, Tinley Park is a pretty great place to live. Our annual show here with the Historical Society in Tinley Park, and hopefully some of you can get a chance to get over here sometime. My name's Ron Centanni. I'll be your host today, along with the volunteers from the Community Resources Commission, our high school and college graduates and adult volunteers. And by the way, speaking of volunteers, we need some volunteers because our high school and college people are going on. So if you would like to volunteer to help us out put this program every month, drop us a line in care of the Community Resources Commission in Tinley Park at the Village Hall, and we'll get a hold of you and hopefully get you to be on with helping us put this program every month. Let's just say this program is going to be showing the Historical Society. We've got this very special program put on by the Historical Society and some volunteers here, and we're going to show you what it's kind of like back in the day. So hold on and let's see what we got going on here. Well, we're in front of the Tinley Park Old Schoolhouse. It's a replica of the old schoolhouse. And our show today is, usually in the past, it's been about buildings in Tinley Park. But today, we're going to kind of go back in time and see what it was like teaching school children back in the 1800s and see what it's like in an actual school setting with the teachers teaching what they taught back then. So let's go back in time and see what it was like. We're going to walk up to the kids, and we also have Mr. Sam Tinley here. So come on up and let's talk to Mr. Sam Tinley. Well, we're here at the opening of school today, and we're very fortunate we have Mr. Sam Tinley here with us today, who had played a big role in Tinley Park. Sam Tinley, when did you start becoming train master of Tinley Park?
The railroad came through in 1852. They put a station in 1854, and that's when I started as a station master. So quite a long time ago.
And when did you stop becoming train master here?
I retired when I was, about 26 years later in 1880. So a pretty long time for a station master.
You sure? What was Tinley Park kind of like back then?
Well, there really wasn't much of Tinley Park because it was all down in Gazelville, down the road. Tinley Park really didn't start until the train came through, and that would have been right around 1854 and such. I was living here, but not too many other people were.
Wow. So Tinley Park grew from that. The train was a big part of Tinley Park at the time, was it not?
Yes. If it wasn't for the train, there wouldn't be a Tinley Park. It's what everybody came to sell their goods and ship them and all that stuff. So.
All right, Mr. Tinley, and what are you kind of talking to the kids about today here?
Well, this wonderful group of kids is going to take a step back in time with me today, back to the early 1900s. They're going to see what it's like to spend a day in a one-room schoolhouse.
Wow, so that'd be fun. So kids, you all looking forward to school today, right?
Come on, kids.
All right, oh, the bell's ringing, so Miss Connie, okay, let's go.
Boys and girls, I'm so glad you're here. Let's all stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Please sit down. You know what, can anybody, and we'll all say this together too, can anybody, Bella, can you read for us the golden rule?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right. Let's all say that. Next time, stand, Bella, but let's all say it together. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Does anybody kind of know what that means and a simpler way to put it? Jack.
Like, if you don't like the thing that you're doing to somebody else, don't do it.
If you don't want a thing done to somebody else, don't do it. Very nice. Anybody else want to put it another way? Nay.
Treat others the way you would like to be treated.
Treat others the way you want to be treated. Very good, May. You know, we've been learning in the past about the Potawatomi Indians who first settled here in Tinley Park, and we're going to continue to do that. I would like you all to take your books out, your little notebooks,
And look at the front of your notebook. Can anybody tell me what those things on your notebook represent that the Native Americans might have been important to? Tim?
The corn and the clamshell represent food, and the birch bark represents the shelter, and the fir represents.
Very good, thank you so much. You know what, so the three things that all people need, even today and in the time of the early Americans who lived in Tinley Park, we need food, shelter, and clothing. Those three words are going to be your vocabulary words, and at the end of the week when we have our spelling bee, I hope everybody not only can know to spell the words correctly, but what those three things mean. Okay, take your pencil and please write your name in the first part of your book. Write your name. And you'll write your spelling words there too. After you've done that, I'd like you to take your slate and your chalk and write the three spelling words. If you have a hard time, you can help each other.
Please do. They're on the board.
And they're on the board as well. Food, shelter, and clothing. After you have that done, please turn it around and show me so I can tell if you've spelled the words correctly. Perfect. Very nice. Yes. Very nice. This is, would you take one and pass it down? This is a little paper about what we have been learning. And it shows on the front a picture of what Tinley Park might have looked like in its days when the early Americans, the Potawatomi, were here. So I want you to look at these pictures, first of all, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. But first I want you to put to the first page beyond the picture, this page right here. Okay, on this page, I would like someone to read what's in the little box. Please speak, very nice name, please speak loudly.
The first people that lived in Tinley Park were Potawatomi Indians, Native Americans that lived in wigwams made of branches and covered with grasses and tree work. They were farmers and hunters. They ate corn, beans, and fish. They hunted deer, elk, bear, squirrel, and even buffalo. Fresh meat was dried and smoked so that it could be kept longer. Nothing was wasted.
Nothing was wasted. How did they keep their food? How did they, once they caught an animal, how did they keep it? Did they put it in the refrigerator?
No.
Did they put it in the icebox?
No.
How do you think they could have?
It was dried and smoked so that it could be kept longer.
Dried and smoked. Bella, what do you think that they might have done? How could they have dried? How could they have smoked the food?
Maybe they made like a fire.
Yes, a fire. Okay. You know what? As a matter of fact, I have here some dried smoked meat. Because even in Tinley Park, there were buffalo. Would anyone like to try it?
We have brave people who would like
We
to.
have brave people who want to try it. Okay, okay. Okay. Bella? Okay.
Have you
Now,
had
I'll tell you
breakfast?
this. Just take a little bite. You don't have to eat it all. Just to see if you think this would be a good idea to have your meat saved. Do you think this was, okay, let's take a guess. Do you think this was, what kind of meat? You think it's a fish? You think it's an animal?
Maybe bear.
Bear, because bear were here. A little bit for you? Okay. Okay. And anybody else? Can anybody taste the smokiness? One try. Okay. Anybody taste the smokiness? Okay. So maybe this is. Oh wait, turn around. You gotta get.
Are we getting some expressions?
Yes. You know what? If you have to use the outhouse, sure. Go out and use the outhouse for a second. That happens, okay. Very, very good, okay. Okay, before she comes back, you know what? Your leftover piece, you want to keep it?
Can I fill it out?
Yeah, here, I'll put it right in here. Okay, we just wanted to try it for a sample, and so that's good. Okay, now I want you to look at the front of your piece of your sheet that I gave you. The picture of the early Potawatomi Indians who may have lived in Tinley Park. Okay, looking at the picture, I'm going to ask you a few questions and see if you can see what's going on in the picture. What season of the year do you think it might be? Mitchell?
Could be fall because of all the orange leaves on the ground.
Good answer. Anybody else have an idea? No?
It could be summer because they're not wearing much clothing.
Oh, that's a very good.
Yeah, they
If
don't
you
have much
notice,
clothing,
there's
do
not
they?
a lot of clothing.
Those are good comments.
And that would be, what's going on in the middle of the picture? It looks to me like a log. What are they doing to the log? May?
They're hollowing it out so that they can make a canoe.
Very good, very good. Okay, and what are they putting in that to make it? Tim?
Probably logs.
What's this part right here?
Oh, I can't tell.
They're burning it. They're burning it. That's okay. They're burning it. And burning will make it easier for somebody to sit in when they make it a canoe. Okay. In this picture, is there anyone who looks like he's hunting? Julie.
The guy who's holding the bow and arrow and like aiming at the water, so like maybe he's hunting fish.
Okay, it'd have to be nice clean water for him to see the fish. Yes, that's true. That's good. And what do you think what's on his back? Can anybody see what's on his back? Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but like something that holds over arrows.
That's it. It's called a quiver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's called a quiver, and it holds the arrows. Okay. You know what? On the last part of your paper, I'd like you to take this part home because you're going to take it home. You're going to read for your parents. Okay. How many of your parents know how to read and write? Okay. A lot of your parents didn't go to school, so some of them don't know how to read and write. So it would be good for you to practice with them. That'll help them. Any questions?
No? Also, the animals, obviously, the buffalo, the Native Americans would use every part of their buffalo. They would obviously smoke the meat. They also would use even the bones they would use, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. The bones.
So there was nothing wasted.
Okay. You know what? I want you to go over now. We're going to all stand up and we're going to walk over to the table where we're going to work on our penmanship. Okay? You can leave your sheets here. And remember, you're going to need to know your 3 spelling words. Okay. You can go this way.
Can we begin by introducing ourselves? I want to find out a little bit about you, all right? So, what I'm going to ask you to do is to stand, to say your name, what school you go to, what grade you're in, maybe and what you like to do. Maybe play soccer, or fish, or paint, or whatever you like to do, okay? So can we start with you, please?
My name's Jack. I'm from Orland Hills. I like to read. So
Okay. And what's your grade?
second. I'm in 2nd grade.
2nd grade. What do you like to do, Jack? Do you like to play baseball or?
I like to play basketball.
He likes to play basketball.
And read, Jack. Read. Is that what you said? You read, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack. Now we know a little bit about Jack. Would you please stand?
My name is Mitchell. I go to Nelson Ridge School and I'm in 6th grade and I love to fish.
Ah, you love to fish. All right.
My name is May Slapstick. I'm in 3rd grade and I like playing with my friends.
Julia.
My name is Julia Donahoe. I go to CJB and I'm in 7th grade and I love to be in plays.
Okay. Emmy?
My name is Emmy Shackley. I go to Western Avenue School and I like to play soccer.
And what do you like to do, Emmy?
Playing soccer.
Play-
Play soccer? Yes.
My name's Tim. I'm going into 5th grade, and I like to be in plays like reading.
Nice.
My name is Bella. I go to Western Avenue. I'm going into 5th grade and I like to read and write.
Very good, very good. Now we know a little bit about each other and we can begin our lesson. All right, first of all, we're going to be writing with quill pens. Does everybody have one? Let's pass them out and pick one that you like. Now let's look at our quills. They're all different, aren't they? Very carefully. What type of bird do you think your the feather came from? What kind of bird do you have in your hand? Julie, would you please stand and tell us?
A swan.
A swan, okay. And yes, please.
A turkey.
A turkey, okay. Any idea, Jack, you want to tell us what kind of feather do you think that is?
Maybe like,
Okay, that's okay.
Very good, very good, yeah. First of all, I want you to tell me, who knows who George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were? Tell me a little bit about them. Okay. Yes, May. You understand?
They were each president.
They were presidents. I think they were our first and our third presidents.
Yes.
And they used quill pens. So here you are, just like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and I say Abigail Adams too, all right? You have to have some girls in this as well. Okay, now what we're going to be doing is writing with these. And first of all, we're going to give a little bit of history. First of all, you had to catch the bird, right? So let's imagine that Julia's out and she's trying to catch a bird. Okay, so let's say she's caught a turkey. What's she gonna do? Well, she's gonna take the feather from the turkey, aren't you? Okay, and then what they would do is they would bury them in sand because they were very, pliant because they had come off a bird. And then they would bury them and then they would take them out and they would be nice and strong and sturdy, just the way we're looking at it now. Okay, what we're going to be doing now is using our quill, just like Thomas Jefferson and Abigail Adams and our forefathers, to write. Okay, we're going to begin by writing our names. So can you please all take your quills, and also you have ink in front of you.
And you can ignore it in here. Ignore it in here.
So we're writing our names just as they did, okay. What were our spelling words? Let's see, someone we haven't heard from in a while. Bella, why don't you stand and tell us your spelling words?
Food, shelter, and clothing.
Right, food, shelter, and clothing. So now let's write our spelling words also. Now remember that these pens were used over and over, okay? So it would come a time when they would have to take their knife and they would have to sharpen it so that they could easily dip into the ink. May I ask another question? What, for example, do you think they would use let's say a crow's feather, a small feather for? What would be something? Yes, Julia.
Maybe if they wanted to write smaller and wanted to write something,
Exactly.
maybe like a long paragraph or something like that.
It's almost like our thin marker, isn't it? So they could draw more elaborate details. Aren't they doing well?
Yes, they are. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Do you notice anything that you don't like about this? Like, for example, Julia?
It's very smudgy.
Very smudgy. That's it. Yes, May.
When you want to write all the same size when you dip it in and you get like new ink. It comes out really thick.
That's very good. I think one of you, when you grow up, you need to invent a fountain pen. It's got a pointy part, and then that'll be easier for us to use. That's an invention that we took up. Okay.
But many of our famous documents like the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were written with a quill pen. And so now we can go and see them. And we have to learn how to read cursive writing, don't we? But they would use the quill.
You know what, boys and girls? We have a special guest that has come to our school today to talk to you. This is someone who is familiar with Tinley Park, and I'll let him tell you the rest of his story. His name is Farmer Simpson. Welcome, Farmer Simpson.
Thank you,
Meet the boys
Miss
and
Connie,
girls.
Miss Karen. Boy, it's a pleasure to be here. But I had to leave the farm to come here. But it's great to visit you and talk about farms in Tinley Park here. I grew up on a farm west of town. The farm was started by my great-grandfather. He came from the old country, settled here, started clearing the land. The land was mostly all grass, some trees. A lot of work to clear the land to start a farm. My father also worked on the farm, as I did with my two brothers. It was a working farm, living farm. Now you know what that is? Because you had to work the farm, live on it, and everything you grew on the farm, you try and kept in your house or farm that you lived off of it. Because there was not a lot of stores, so you had to grow stuff you could eat, you could preserve, put them for the winter, and a lot of the stuff you grew for the animals. A lot of farms had animals for many reasons. On our farm, we had some horses, big horses. They used to pull the wagons and plow the fields. Later on, tractors came, so the horses weren't used that much. Also on the farm, for food, they had animals like cows for milk, chickens and ducks and geese for eggs. So it was a working farm.
May I ask a question?
Also, the fields were very important. In the fields, they would till the soil every year, sow the seeds, and let the rain come down and grow the seeds. The big thing was harvest at the end of the year, to harvest the crops that had grown. They would harvest the seeds to save for next year. They would sell some of the seeds, and some of the stuff they would keep to feed the animals. Now the animals were very, very important because they were used for food and also like milk, but you had to take care of them. Every day, that was the job. Feed the animals, give them water in the morning and feed, take care of them. You got to know the animals pretty good. They got to know you. A lot of them had names. So they were special to the family. The very other thing important about the land was it was so good to grow crops. You got to work the land. You knew it. Just like a lot of families have gardens, right? At your house. You work in the garden, you go out there and get to know the ground. Something was very important about the land around our town. As we were working the soil in that, a lot of times we find these stones laying in the top of the dirt. I picked a few of these up, and took them to my father. He said, "Oh, that's a stone called an arrowhead." Where did they come from? Well, what I have right here is some stones that were collected from our farm west of town by my grandfather and father. These stones were shaped by what is the tribe that used to live here?
I don't
Potawatomi, that's right. They lived in the land all around us here because there were so many places where they could hunt or live. These stones were shaped by hand. There's different sizes. Small ones for shooting birds for food. The bigger ones were used for bigger animals. They would take these and put them on a wood stick and shoot them like a bow and arrow. This is very, very important to the area because it was left by the Indian tribe to show us they lived here. They were part of the area we all live in. They wanted us to know that they lived here. Very important. But I want to thank you all for inviting me here and
Thank you.
talking a little bit
Farmer
about the
Simpson.
farm and
Thank you.
how it was to grow up. And it was a lot of work and it was really enjoyable.
I bet these would have been.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farmer Simpson. Thank you. Boys and girls, that was a nice visit he had. And now I think that we have to say goodbye for the end of this day and hope we'll all see you back again here in September when we have our recreation of our school day at that time.
Well, we want to thank everybody for coming out, all our actors and players and Historical Society people today who participated in this program to kind of show you what it was like back in the 1800s going to school. And we got to thank our teachers, our students, our participants here, and all these people who helped out today. And we look forward to seeing you all in school in the next couple of weeks. We have with us here Secretary of the Historical Society, Ms. Pat Steamson, who's going to tell us a little bit about the Historical Society and our buildings and what's going on here.
Thank you, Ron. I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation that our kids and our volunteers worked so hard to put on for you. It was quite amazing, and I think it will be very, very nice. We have a real program coming up on September 22nd from noon to 4, where the children will attend the one-room schoolhouse right here, go through somewhat of the same thing that we did today. If you're interested in participating, you can call or stop in at the Historical Society and sign up for the program. I think you would all enjoy it. You did such a good job today. I also would like to mention that our hours are every Wednesday from 10 to 2, and the first Sunday of every month from 12 to 3, and the second Thursday evening from 6 to 8. We would love to have the parents and the children come visit our museum. We have some wonderful items in our museum, treasures that have been donated to us from people in the village. I would like to thank everyone for helping us out today, and especially Ron and Nick for all the help that they gave us in putting the program together. Thank you all, and I hope to see you at our museum. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Pat, and thanks to the Historical Society. You guys do a tremendous job here. I just think one of the best historical societies in the south suburbs, to be honest with you. That's my personal opinion. And they have a treasure trove of things here to see. So come out sometime and come to the museum and see what old Tinley Park has to offer. So congratulations, Historical Society. Good job. Thanks for watching Discover Tinley, and we'll see you next month.